Now. Okay, good. We're on. Yes. Awesome. Awesomes. Yeah, that last hangout we did earlier, it took us like 3 or 4 tries to go live. For some reason, it kept failing. But we're actually on.
Cool.
Very good. Hey, this is Johnny Beane,
Dave
David,
Nesbitt.
Dave Nesdall again. This is my VEDA vlog every day in August. My vlog. I do these vlogs every day in August, every day this month. And I go by a calendar sometimes, and the calendar has questions. It must have been the question yesterday. A person you would want to meet who was alive. It must have been because the question now is who would you like to meet who is gone? Who is somebody? Um, hey Garrett. Garrett is here. I know Brent Cohn liked my post even before we even went on. Hey Joe Wentz. Hey Joe. Says welcome back.
Yo, what's happening, Joe?
What's up, dudes? Yes. 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 So I think everybody can answer this. Feel free. Feel free to comment. The question is, who would you like to meet who is deceased? I know it's kind of a weird question, I guess, but I don't know. What do you think, Dave?
Um, that is a good question. There's a few people. I just, I don't know. The last time I answered this question, I answered Jimi Hendrix. I don't think I want to. I don't think I want to answer it with that. I don't want to answer it the same this time.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd like to meet Elvis. I'd either like to meet Elvis or I'd like to meet George Harrison.
Joe Wentz says Hendrix. Garrett King says Les Paul. That's cool.
I met
Did you?
I met Les Paul and I was friends with his son Rusty.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Rusty's also passed on last year. He died.
Mm-hmm. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, Rusty used to come to the jam at the Bitter End on Monday nights that I did with Richie Canada, and he used to enjoy when I'd bring a Les Paul and played a guitar that had his dad's name on it. He used to
Mm-hmm.
tell me stories. Like every week, he'd tell me a new story, and it was cool. It was cool to sit with him. What a really nice guy.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I imagine. I imagine he has plenty of stories.
Yeah, he told me stories on how close Eddie Van Halen was friends. How close friends he was with Les, and how Eddie would how Les would either call Eddie or Eddie would call Les, and they'd make fun of they'd make fun of other people, saying the only three people that could build guitars is Leo Fender, myself, and you.
Man,
Yeah.
that's cool. That's very cool, man. Yes. I know I've answered this question probably twice because some of these questions on this calendar are the same every year. Um, I really don't remember what I've even said before. Uh, but let's just say, hmm. I think it'd be cool to meet like Abraham Lincoln, you know,
Uh-huh.
something like that. Somebody that you learn about in school, all for ever. It'd be really interesting to actually meet one of those people, you know.
Hmm. Sure.
But as far as people I like, like I'm sitting here, on my wall. You can't see my, I mean, you can't see me for one thing because my camera's off. But uh, I've got a photo of Charlie Chaplin right here that I look at. That's on my wall. You know, he's one of my, when I was a kid, I grew up, watching his films and being a huge fan. Still am. Still am.
Hmm.
I think he'd be cool to meet. You know, as far as like a musician, like you said, Elvis. I mean, yeah, who wouldn't want to meet, an icon like that? Um, as far as maybe like an actor, or somebody famous, whatever, somebody who's passed away. Uh, one of my favorites is Dudley Moore.
Oh,
You know,
cool.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He passed away in 2002. Um, hey, Joe Wentz says, I remember seeing Eddie on the Les Paul tribute on Cinemax in 1988. Hmm.
Yep.
Hmm. Yeah, I had that on VHS tape when I was a kid. You could actually buy it on VH. They actually released it on VHS.
Yeah. Yeah, I had it too.
Hmm. Hey, 802 Blues. Yo.
Yeah, it was the end, the jam at the end where Brian Setzer calls everyone out, calls Eddie Van Halen first to come and jam on Blue Suede Shoes. That was really cool. Cool jam. Eddie played his rear end off. Well, so did Brian Setzer. It was amazing. Two of my favorite players on the same stage, and you'd never see them playing together ever.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, actually, for a while, the drummer for Brian Setzer's orchestra,
Yeah.
for a while was a guy named Bernie Dressel.
Yeah, Bernie still plays with him.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I met Bernie back in '97 when he was touring with Andy Summers.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Bernie Dressel is his guy.
Cool, cool. Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah,
One of the best drummers on the planet. He's so good.
yeah. I've seen him live. One, two, three, four, five, probably several times. I've seen him live with Andy, and he was always very cool. I remember talking to him and the bass player at the time, whose name was Jerry Watts. I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
No.
They were playing some video games in this video arcade that was downstairs from the club that they were playing that night, the Andy Summers Trio, right? And I remember walking through there, and I remember standing there like talking to them while they're playing these video games or whatever. And this was year. I mean, this was '97, so this is years before. I don't know if he was with Bernie or I mean Brian then. But the first time I remember seeing him with Brian Setzer was a video. There was a music video where you could see him in the video where he's drumming, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I've had him on Facebook. We've been Facebook friends for years, years, probably since I don't know, so many years, And I'll get invites, He'll send me a message here and there, let me know about a show or something,
Oh,
because he,
cool.
he plays shows all the time, But they're all down in L.A. They're all down in Hollywood, you know. But let's see. Oh, and as far as what you were just saying about that Les Paul tribute show, I actually think they either did that show twice or they had a rehearsal where they did the whole thing. Like they ran through it and then did it again. Because I've seen many photos that are almost like the show, but they're different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Like there's this one photo of the jam at the end. Edward's wearing sunglasses, right?
Yeah.
And then there's a photo of him talking to Les Paul, like the part, before or after he plays, right? And he's wearing a backstage laminate,
Yes.
and he has a pink guitar pick on the 5150. And this is stuff that wasn't in the actual broadcast of that show.
Hmm.
So I think they either ran through it one time, like the whole thing, and that's where these photos came from, or they did it twice. But it was the same. It was obviously it was the same day because they're all wearing the same thing, but it's just slightly different, you know. Um. So anyway, yeah, that was a really cool show. I grew up watching that. Let's see. We got some comments here. Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you everybody for listening to this stuff. You know,
Yeah.
it's like thank you for listening to this. Whereas you could actually be, watching what's on TV these days. You could be watching a rerun of MASH or something right now.
That's not on TV.
Oh, you could be watching Taxi right now. uh, 802 Blue says Dudley Moore is the guy who did the author Arthur author did the Arthur movies, right? Yes, the original ones. He did the first one, and then there was a sequel that was done like many years, like 5 years later, or 7 years later, or something. And it's the original is way better, but it's cool. It was cool to see a sequel with him and Liza Minnelli. Um, yeah, and then of course there was a remake of Arthur with. We were just talking about this the other last week or whatever. What's the guy?
Oh.
Russell. Uh, what's his name? 802 Blues says he would like to meet Ronnie Van Zant and Michael Bloomfield.
Oh, Mike Bloomfield, yeah.
Mhm.
There's a really great new video. It's a YouTube video of G.E. Smith playing the famous Mike Bloomfield Telecaster
Mm-hmm.
and telling stories about that Telecaster. Mike Bloomfield only owned one Telecaster, and it was on every record that you could think of.
Mm-hmm.
Until he got his '59 Les Paul, but it was on every record that you could think of that Mike Bloomfield was on, that Telly was on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, it's great, man. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, we would talk about G.E. Smith and all the guitars that he would play.
Yeah.
That was one of the cool things growing up watching that show. And plus the show was actually funny back then. If you ask
Yeah.
me, I haven't seen the show in decades now, but yeah, yes, and yeah. Anybody who's listening to this, if you're just tuning in, we did a great hangout uh, tonight already with Rob Johnson
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
and opened up
It always
some
is. It's
gifts.
always a lot of fun, but it was really a lot of fun.
Hmm. Oh yeah, it always is. It always is. Um, yeah, a couple of people sent in some stuff, and I opened them on the stream.
And it took a lot of phone calls too.
Yeah, yeah, people called up. That's always cool. Always a good thing. Joe Wentz says, I saw that video too, Dave. It was great. The video you were just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool, man. That's cool. And yeah, cool videos yourself, Joe. Joe posted a video on my page just a little while back of him playing a telly. And also Joe, he's doing Joe Wentz. He's doing his own podcast now, his own thing where he tells stories, talks about his guitars,
That's really cool.
all that. Yeah, yeah. Everybody, check him out. Joe Wentz, WENTZ. It's almost like a radio station. This is Wentz Radio. Hey, that could be the name of your show, Joe. Yeah, this is Wentz Radio. WENTZ. Sounds like public radio though. You know.
Yeah.
we could we could be talking about school lunches or something.
Pretty funny.
which which were very good, by the way, when I was a kid.
Yeah, they were. Friday was always pizza day.
Joe's laughing. Pizza day? Oh yeah, pizza, fish
Baked
sticks.
ziti's. Remember Baked
Um,
Ziti Day?
the what?
Baked Ziti Day?
No,
You never had baked zitis?
baked ziti.
Yeah, baked ziti.
What's that?
Baked ziti?
Baked ziti?
Baked. Baked
Baked.
ziti. Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
It's a pasta dish. Baked ziti. Ziti's is a type of pasta. It's, like,
That's got to be an East Coast thing.
dude, it's an Italian thing. It's not just an East Coast thing. It's an Italian thing.
I've never had it.
Oh, dude.
Never had that.
I'm sorry.
But I could sure go for some macaroni and cheese or something right now.
Oh. What, are you going to put
Man.
ketchup on that too?
Huh?
You're going to put ketchup on that too?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, you're disgusting.
You just dip it. You don't smother it. Remember,
Yeah,
don't drown your food.
you're certainly not Italian.
No, I'm not. I don't think. I might be. I'm not sure. I don't think so. No. No, but man. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's some good food, man. When you went to school. Although I have barely any memory of high school food. I think by that point you're like out of there. You hit up McDonald's every day or something.
Yep.
Grade school, I remember. I remember always, this, that, whatever. Junior high. Wait a minute. Junior high, I think I remember the lunchroom in junior high. Okay, that's right. So I would eat lunch there. High school is when everybody would split. And you'd go to McDonald's or you wouldn't even eat. I'd go home. I lived really close to the high school when I was in high school, and I would go home and play guitar. You know,
Yeah.
I remember that. Or I would just go out to the hill and just smoke the whole time. You know. Or sometimes I do remember going out to lunch with friends. You jump in somebody's the back of their pickup truck, and a bunch of you are like in the back of the truck, riding somewhere. Which is that even legal nowadays?
I don't think so.
To ride in the back of a truck?
Nope, I don't think it is.
Was it even legal back in the 80s?
No, it was never legal.
Oh. Or wait, I mean 2000s? Yeah.
I went to high school in the 80s.
Mm-hmm. I went to high school in the 90s. 1890s. It was like one room.
Yeah. One room and 55 kids.
I'd ride a horse. Um,
At least
yeah,
the was riding you.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So riding in the back of somebody's pickup truck, that was never a thing. That was, I mean, I've done it. I mean, I was a kid all the time I did it, but I would never do that now. I
Yeah,
think the
I don't think it's legal. I don't think it ever was really legal. I don't think cops really busted you for it.
do people still do that? They
Uh,
probably do.
yeah.
I the last time I rode in the back of a pickup truck with other people would have been 1992, 93 somewhere. I went to jam with these guys. Um, and the guitar player, I still know the guy now. We're actually we ran into each other again like maybe 5 years ago or 4 years ago, and we're I think we're friends on Facebook at least. But this is back, in '92 when I first met this guy, and I remember taking two guitars and my amp. I had the PV Stereo Chorus 212. That was my amp, and I show up to his place, and he had this is 1992. Remember, I show up to his jam room, his garage or whatever it was, the shack in the back of their yard, whatever it was, and he had a full PV 5150 stack,
Oh my god.
two cabinets, straight and slant. It was a full stack, brand new, 1992. And I saw that thing, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. So I probably got to plug into it. But my amp, was a PV Stereo Chorus 212.
Hmm.
Which it's not the worst thing in the world, but
No, no, it's a nice sounding amp, and it's loud. That amp is
oh yeah, it's
so
very
loud.
loud. It's very loud, and that's the one thing the kid told me. He's like, oh man, I just bought this full stack 5150, and I could have bought what you have, and it's just as loud. I mean, really, it isn't, but it's close.
Hmm.
You can actually have both the you can use the PV 212s, at least the ones back then anyway. Probably even now. They do get very loud. Very loud. So I remember he really liked my amp. But anyway, the whole thing about that though, and it's so funny that I know him now. Even I mean, that was so long ago, and then we run into each other at a jam in Oakland, like maybe like 4 years ago, and he remembered me. He's like, I remember you. He's like, remember you jammed at my house? And I'm like, huh? Yeah. I'm like, that really? That was you? You know? Uh, but that was the last. So when they picked me up at my house, and then it must have been him and like a drummer and a bass player, right? Maybe him and one guy were in the truck, and then me and the other guy were in the back of the truck, you know. And I remember riding on the freeway in the back of a pickup truck.
Man.
Yeah, yeah. I would never do that now. I would never do that again. But yeah, that was the last time I did that. And then of course in high school, a few years, a couple of years before then, I remember jumping, lunchtime for a little while, hanging out with these kids and jumping in the back of somebody's truck and heading to, Burger King or whatever. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's funny. I never thought about it. I never thought about that. Is riding in the back of a truck even illegal? Even legal? But yeah, it can't be. Even if you have helmets. Yeah. Oh. Although nowadays I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, ghost riding the whip and all that stuff. Just insaneness. Oh, we got some comments here. What about
Cool.
you guys? Anybody listening? Everybody listening? Anybody? When's the last time you rode in the back of somebody's pickup truck?
I don't think
Oh,
I've ever done that. I don't think
eight,
I've ever
you
done
never did?
that. No.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it again. 802 Blues says, where I live in Vermont, we did it all the time. But now with seatbelt law, it's illegal. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, you're like bouncing around back there and stuff. You're actually, yes, yes, I remember. You're sitting in the back of the truck and you hit a bump and you actually bounce. You actually get air. Yeah, it's insane. And I mean, it's fun. 802 Blues says, I saw a Leonard Skinner interview where the guitarist says they switched to Peavey from Marshall simply because Peavey was so much louder.
Yeah, yeah, that's actually true. That's a very true statement. Everything they had was PB.
Mm-hmm. The old Peavey stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The old stuff. Yeah,
Yep.
maybe. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, yeah. The PV 212 that I had, the stereo chorus, it was very loud. It was open back, had built-in chorus. It had built-in effects, like it had some reverbs and then like some delays. And so a lot of I've got some original, my early demos, I did back then all myself. Yeah, it's all the PV stereo chorus, the 212 amplifier, and not necessarily having chorus on it, but just But I remember one cool thing I used to do was I would mic both speakers, and then you have the chorus on the stereo, and it's actually stereo. It actually would go like back and forth, I think, maybe. And then so when I would, listen back to the tracks, I'd be able to hear like the chorus go back and forth or whatever. I think so. Something like that.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. Yeah. Joe Wentz says riding in the back of a pickup is illegal here in South Carolina, but people still do it. Oh man. Yes. Yeah, this is riding in the back of pickup truck chat.
This is what I stayed up for.
This is where we talk about riding in the back of pickup trucks. Have you? When's the last time you rode? When's the last time you rode in the back of somebody's pickup truck? Give us a call. You're listening to Wentz Radio, WENTZ. 802 Blues says, first amp I ever played was a PV. All my friends in the 90s had PV amplifiers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Well, the 80s, 90s. I mean, that was PV was the thing because they were cheaper, weren't they? Weren't they cheaper?
Yes, they were.
And they were all at the time. They were all made in America.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And they're great amps.
they really were.
They're great, And of course, when the 5150 came out, it was like, whoa,
Whoa.
thing's amazing.
I think
kills.
in fact, I had one of them in '92. Was it '92? Yeah, it had to have been '92. It was a block, first issue block like yours, and I did have two cabinets. I did use two cabinets, and I would take them to. I would take that whole rig to my gigs back then.
Oh man.
And I would put it in a back then. What truck? I think I think like a Ford Explorer back then. So I did have a truck, but my buddy Joe had an old style Bronco that was like 10 feet off the ground. It had such like big tires on it, like huge, what's those funny trucks? The big monster trucks.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd get the two cabinets in the head and all, and like I would take 4 or 5 guitars with me. This is back when I thought who I was. This is a long time ago. Thought I was, the cat's meow, and trying to lift these cabinets in his truck, because you'd have to lift them over your head in order to get them in. That's how high the truck was. And shortly after that, I was like, "What am I killing myself for?" And everyone is like, the band is too loud. And when I say the band, I mean me, because I was playing through a full stack. I wasn't, I didn't have them piled on top of each other. I had them side by side. But, it's those old PV heads are 120 watts. They're not 100. That head you have is 120 watts.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane how loud that is.
Oh, even just below one,
Yeah.
it's loud enough.
Yeah.
I mean, when I play it here, nobody can be here. And I mean nobody. Nobody can be at all in
Oh,
this
I
place.
thought nobody's listening to us.
Huh?
Isn't nobody listening to us?
Nope. No, I don't know if nobody's on here. Who is nobody? He told you his name at some point.
Yeah, his name is Albert.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Nobody's name is Albert.
Two 412s. How can you?
Yeah, that was
I
crazy.
mean, that was the 80s, man. The 80s. All those bands had at least a full stack on stage, at least. In a club. That's now that's totally insane.
Well, I mean, check. It wasn't didn't Van Halen when they played the Whiskey? When was that? When they did that gig at the Whiskey? What was that? 95?
When they played it with Sammy,
Yeah,
that was 93.
93. Well, Eddie, didn't he use a full stack of 51, one full whole stack in that small club, or was it more than that? I thought it was one whole stack, like on both cabinets on top of each other in the head.
I don't know. I mean,
I
probably.
thought I saw concert footage of that.
Yeah, if you watch there's a live version of Dreams where you can see what he's using. Um, probably, probably. Um, but then again, yeah, that was 93. That was the tail end of the 80s. I mean, that was the thing,
I
you
get it,
know?
but still, that the Whiskey stage is super duper small, and to have a full stack on that stage, it's a very small club.
I've never been in there. Um, I've driven past it. I've been across the street at the Viper Room. That's a small place, man. The Viper Room.
Mm-hmm.
That place is tiny. You know, my friend's band. We went and saw my friend's band play there one time, and I remember when they were done. Every time a band is done, you have to take all your gear outside the
Mm-hmm.
side of the street. And so I remember we went outside and we were standing there with everybody's gear on the side of the building. The place is tiny. 802 Blues says, I have the Guns N' Roses Reckless Road book, and Slash would play with the stack at all those small clubs. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, that was the 80s. In the 80s, that was the thing. It was really it was all about image. You had to have a full stack. That was the thing. Now,
Leather
now,
pants,
now that yeah. Now the thing is, you have a 212 on a milk crate.
or on a soak crate.
You know, yeah. I mean that's what I do.
Soak crates.
That's what I have. I use a 212 with a milk thing. You know,
Yeah.
and it's plenty loud for anywhere. I played a theater. I played a theater with that thing.
Well, it's 60 watts.
Because they mic it.
It's
You
really
know.
loud. You don't even need to mic it. It's so loud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. So all that stuff in the '80s, that was all mainly image. But still, I mean, that was one of the things though. You use a full stack in a small club, and you can't even stand in front of it because if you do, you can't hear anybody else.
No.
I think Edward actually said that at some point. He's like when they were playing the clubs. He said he'd turn his cabinets around. He would put stuff in front of the speakers to muffle the sound because the only way he could get his sound was to turn all the way up. You
And
know,
that's the truth. Yeah, that's
I mean,
absolutely the truth.
just imagine those people. Well, first of all, imagine how cool that would have been to see that. But just imagine being there and just being just blasted. You know.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be there.
Well, I would.
You crazy, man. You crazy. Too crazy.
That'd be amazing. Joe Wentz says I had a PV Heritage 212 and gave it to my son last year.
Nice.
PV Heritage. That's cool.
I had a PV Bandit 65, and then I had a PV Renown 212.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. 802 Blues says he, as an Edward, said he felt bad for the people in the front row back then. Yeah. Yeah, just imagine. Just imagine. Yeah, I felt bad. Yeah, the Mayfire. We played a show at this place in San Francisco one time. What was the place called? Uh, can't think of it. Anyway, place was packed. The place was totally packed because the band that we were opening up for was this huge band out of like Mexico or something. So the place was filled with people. And I remember when we went on, I had the same thing. My 212, Fender amp on top of the milk crate or whatever. And I remember when I was setting up my pedals, there's all these kids, in front of me, and I have all these guitar picks in my pedal board, and I was taking the picks and stuff. And so I was asking the kids in front of me, like, I'm like, you want to pick? And all these hands are like grabbing, like here. And I remember saying, I remember saying to them, which is probably pretty weird. I mean, a lot of, people in the audience probably wouldn't expect this from a band or a guitarist or whatever. But I remember asking everybody in the front, I'm like, you guys have earplugs? You know, are you guys okay? Because it's gonna be loud, And they're all either like yes or no, or they don't care, whatever, you know.
Yep.
Because my amp was literally, you know, inches from some dude's head, you know.
Yeah, no, and it was ear level to them.
Yeah, yeah, it's face level, head level, somewhat. Yeah, yeah. So, and of course, that was before I had all the ringing in my ears now, but um, so I still,
I know how it is.
I still tell people wear your earplugs. You know, be
Oh
careful.
my god, yeah,
So,
you're right.
so yes. Let's see. Are you falling asleep?
Yeah.
Okay, we can wrap it up. I think we've been on for I don't know how long, but a little while. Cool. Yeah. See, what we're talking about has nothing to do with the with with the question, but it's okay. We answered it.
Sleep 45.
We answered it. You know. So anyway, thank you everybody for listening to this stuff. My vlogs, my daily vlogs in August. Savvy Sexy Socials vlog every day in August. VEDA vlog every day in August. Be back tomorrow with some sort of something. Actually, I'll be gone. I'll be up in Berkeley. Howie and I are going to Berkeley tomorrow. Uh, so I probably won't be back till sometime tomorrow night. Hey, 802 Blues, have a good night, man.
Yeah, good night, brother.
So at some point when I get home, yeah, we'll do a do
Yeah.
do it again.
Yeah.
Do one of these vlogs.
I'm gonna be at Oz Noise tomorrow. Oz Noise. If you don't know who he is, check him out on YouTube. Oz Noy, O-Z, capital N-O-Y.
Yeah, I know who he is.
I'm not saying just you. I mean, anyone that's listening,
Mhm.
check him out. He's an amazing guitar player. He's international. He's he's a celebrity guitar player. Plays with everybody. And he called me the other day to have me ask me to come over and set up like 4 of his guitars for him. So
Oh, really?
I'm going to his apartment to set up some guitars, make some money.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, yeah. Everybody, check him out. Oz Noy. O-Z-N-O-Y.
Yep. N-O-Y.
Yeah, check him out. Check him
He's
out.
ridiculous. He's one of the best guitar players on the planet. He's just so ridiculous how good he is.
Man.
Yeah.
Awesomes. Awesomes. Okay, thank you everybody for listening. Tune in tomorrow, and if you missed it, check out the hangout we did with Rob Johnson just hours ago. Go back one video here on my channel and check it out. Couple of people sent in some gifts to me, and like I said in the video, like I'm saying, I don't normally open up my mail, on camera. But these two guys, I think they wanted to see me, want to see my reaction, maybe. So
yeah. And one of the gifts wasn't just for you; it was for all 3 of us. It was amazing. What a great gift!
Yeah, yeah. So if you missed it, go back one video, check it out. It was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Yeah, always is. Yeah, we were great.
You can actually hear me playing through my EL34 amp as well, a little bit, I think.
Hey, Joe. Good night, man. Thank you for tuning in, man. Yeah, yeah. Great amplifier you have. And yeah, we have a great time doing these things, talking about this cool stuff, talking about guitars, gear, Edwards gear, guitars, everything.
Yep.
Everything we talk about, we have a great time. Thank you for listening. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. Another VEDA vlog. So keep rocking, everybody. Have a good night. And don't forget, JohnnyBeane.com. Good night.
Take care.
See you later. Somebody just jumped in. We're gone. I'm sorry. We're ending. Rewind it. All right. Good night.